Hello, today is week 12, day 3, and we have been learning about non-fiction text features and also visual information. Visual information is things that we see more than what we read. It has a few words sometimes, but we mostly can look at a picture to help us with that. And on our page today, we have a map of time zones. And I don't know if you have learned this yet, but in the United States, it's a different time in different places in the country. We have Eastern time, Central time, Mountain time, Pacific time, and then Alaskan time. And this is Hawaiian time right here. So those are the different time zones that we have. And as you can see, it gets, it's later on this side than it gets, this is 1 hour ahead, and then 1 hour ahead, 1 hour ahead. It goes by hours. And you can see that if you lived over here and you were going to call someone in Hawaii, the time would be quite a bit different. You'd have to think about both of your times because you wouldn't probably want to call them at 7 a.m. here over to here because that might be kind of early in the morning for them. And so that's the interesting thing about time zones. The instructions say, think about how the illustration helps you understand the time zones. And remember that we've talked about the organization strategy, how text is organized. Think about what information the text gives that the picture does not, and what information the picture gives that the text does not. And it says, what time is it? The world is divided into time zones. When you go from one time zone to another, the time changes. The map shows the time zones of the United States. In each zone, the time is 1 hour different from the zones next to it. Use the map to answer the questions. Okay, so what did this tell? This told us that there were different time zones and that they changed, right? But it didn't really tell us, how they changed or where the line was where it turned into a different time zone. It didn't tell about that kind of stuff, but the map does. And the map tells us the names of the time zones. This one didn't tell us the names of the time zones. So there's quite a bit of different information that this tells us and that this tells us. This even tells us that this is north, south, east, and west. It tells us the directions. Which is true about time zones in the United States? Each zone is the same size. Let's look back and see. I don't know that it tells us anywhere. Maybe if we look at the picture. The zone lines follow state borders. Well, let's look at the states. Look here, this is Nebraska. And do you see this is the corner of Nebraska? And the line just goes through the middle of Nebraska. This is South Dakota and North Dakota. And see how the line just kind of goes up through the middle of it? So it's not really following state borders. Here it kind of does for Texas. But I see some others kind of where it just kind of goes up wherever. So I'm not seeing that it really is following state borders. There are 4 time zones. Does it show 4? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Or there are 6 time zones. What's the best answer? Number 2, it is 2 p.m. in the Mountain Time Zone. What time is it in the Eastern Time Zone? So let's look up here. Here's the Mountain Time Zone, and it says it's, what, 2 p.m. Okay, it's 2 p.m. there. So it wants to know what time in the Eastern Time Zone. They don't even have you do math for that, do they? Because they had it just that way. How many states have their own time zone? So if you were here when we did the geography bee, you know a little bit about states, and take a look. Look, there's a bunch of states in this one, a bunch of states in this one, a bunch in this one, a bunch in that one. What about this one? And what about that one? How many are there that just have one state in a time zone? According to the text, how many hours are between each time zone? So the text. Okay, here it is. You can look back and see. You can also look from 4 to 3, how long that is. But it says, what does the text say about it? And we can see it right there. How is a map a better way to find out about time zones than text? Talk with a partner about it.